Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the TBR tag, just talking about all the books, well not all the books that I have on my TBR, but how I organise my TBR, like what my TBR is to me, everything you might want to know about the books that I have not read, which is there are many of them. So the first question is, how do you keep track of your TBR? So I have Goodreads. And literally, if I hear a book that interests me, like anything at all, if someone says this book has X in it, this book has X, then I will probably add it to my Goodreads TBR, where it will just sit comfortably for a while. If I hear like lots about the book and more people are talking about it and more people are saying things about it, then I will add it to my Amazon wish list. So it's like moved up the chain into these are ones that I definitely want to buy. And then I just gradually buy it. And the thing is, if a book is a body read as well, then that some of them will just get automatically skyrocketed to the top. And the same as well, if an author that I really like has a book coming out, then that just automatically gets skyrocketed right to the top of the TBR. Skyrocketed to the top as soon as it was released. It's not I don't think there's that much organisation to it really. Then once they're bought, the physical TBR, my bookshelves are organised by if I've read them or not. So if they're on this shelf and above, they've all been read. So everything up is read. I separate series if I've not read all of the books. Everything on the very bottom shelf is either my boyfriend's or it's unread, and everything in the piles off to the side is unread. So I feel as though books have to earn their spot on the bookshelf. Yeah, if I love them, then they get more of a pride of place. And so that's how it's determined, that they can't just be bought and go straight onto the bookshelf in a pride of place spot, even despite how pretty they might be, and despite if I've read other books in the series, they have to earn that spot by being read. I don't know if that's a funny way of doing it, but they definitely have to be separated. My TBR used to just be this little bottom bit of the bookshelf double stacked, and then it's sort of expanded and grown and become a bit more overwhelming. Is your TBR mostly print or ebooks? I pretty much read print all the time. Print is where I am most happy. I much prefer having the physical book in my hand. I mean, I guess my infinite TBR is just on the internet, but my physical TBR is print. How do you decide which book from your TBR to read next? So I basically just sit on the floor here and I look at the books. And I look at them and I look really hard and I sort of look and go, what do I feel like reading? This is what a mood reader does, I guess. I mean, every now and again I have a buddy read and that dictates that I have to read that book that month. And so I will prioritise getting to that. Although I have been trying to sign up to less, so I feel less pressurised by that. So occasionally there are books that I do actively say, you're reading that book. But generally I will just sit and stare at the books for a while until one jumps out at me, and generally a few will jump out and they'll be pick me, and I'll just put them all side by side. I might read the first page or something and then go from there. It also depends what time of day it is as well. If I'm thinking about this at night, just before I go to bed, or later on into the evening, I might pick a book and then I'll be the next morning I'll wake up and be no, you made a bad decision here, no, it's going back, picking the other one. Change, I do definitely change my mind, unless I've really got into it, but I definitely do change it. So yeah, there's not really much structure on how I pick the book. It's all just based on feeling. A book that has been on your TBR the longest. I have these editions of Jane Austen's books, this being Emma, which I have not read. I have read Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Persuasion and Northanger Abbey, but I haven't read Emma and I haven't read Mansfield Park. Mansfield Park is back at my parents', where I do have some very old books on my TBR. But this I've probably had for at least 10 years. At least 10 years, I think. So I would say it's probably Emma. But I really like these editions. They're very simple. They're just black. They all when they're all together, they're just all in this with a different colour for the title. And they're just really nicely made. Oh, it looks like I read chapter 1 of Emma because I've got a bookmark in here at chapter 2. But they have like some of the history, like the Jane Austen timeline. Like, they're really nicely made editions. I mean, they're very simple. Like, you get some very, very pretty editions nowadays. But I like this one, and the pages are like really nice and silky. And I was also looking, and I have I think Gormenghast, or I can't remember the author. I've got like a big chunky book with all 3 of the Gormenghast books in it, which I haven't read, and I've had that for years as well. There might be thinking they're probably at my parents' and I'm like avoiding reading them because there's a few that you just don't know if you'll ever read, but I think that's a later question. A book you recently added to your TBR. I mean, the latest books that I've bought are Shadow of the Gods, but this has literally just gone straight from TBR to currently reading with nothing really happening in between. Another one that I literally just bought and added to my physical TBR is The Stone Knife by Anna Stevens. I really liked her Godblind series trilogy that I read last year, and so I thought I would read this one. I've heard as well from Patrick that this one is better than that trilogy, and I like that trilogy, so I have high hopes for the rest of her books. And it was signed, and it was on sale, so I was like, I can't say no. So this, and then like as like books that I've recently added to my Goodreads TBR, the ones that I've literally just been adding, I added the Bone Shard Emperor because I enjoyed the Bone Shard Daughter. I added For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. I added Spindle Splintered by Alexi Harrow. So those are the last 3 that I have added to my Goodreads shelf. A book you added to your TBR strictly because it has a beautiful cover. I think I'm pretty good at like balancing out whether a book has good reviews and like sounds interesting to me as well as having a pretty cover. Like, a pretty cover definitely helps, but I don't think I just buy books because of the cover. Like, I definitely generally listen to people as well and think about what I actually want to read instead of just thinking that's got a really pretty cover. Like, I haven't actively been seeking to read Six Crimson Cranes. Like, I might have added it to my Goodreads TBR, but I haven't like thought about buying it yet or pre-ordering it until I see more reviews, despite how pretty the cover is, by Elizabeth Lim. Because I mean, the cover is stunning. It's absolutely stunning, but I am holding off buying it until I know whether it's going to be for me or not. It's on my Goodreads TBR, but it's not being like actively bought. I'm just looking at my books, and I'm seeing multiple books which have really pretty covers, but I don't think but then I'm like, oh, but someone recommended that to me, or someone said this about this book, so it's not because of the cover that I've added it to my TBR. A book on your TBR that you never actually plan on reading. So I mean, I think if it was on my TBR, then I would plan to read it. Like, otherwise it's not to be read, it's just a book you're not interested in. But I do own Les Miserables, and I'm not sure if I'm ever going to read Les Miserables. It's back at my parents'. It's a lovely edition, and it is in English, it's not in French actually, but I just don't know if I'm ever going to read it. It's like, you know, on your lifetime TBR, you're like, one day I will read that book, but it's just so long and sad. So I'm not sure if I'm ever going to read Les Miserables. I don't know if I ever will. But like, of the ones I own physically here, like, I don't see myself like not reading any of them. I mean, like, I guess if I don't like Black Prism, then I won't read The Blinding Knife, but I have hopes that I will like this, so I definitely will read that. I mean, I do have, oh, actually, I bought this copy of The Witcher after watching the TV show, and I'm not sure if I'm going to read this, because I've got multiple friends that have now read the series, and they are so about it. They're just okay with where it goes, and they complain about like the perspectives and the way that it's told, like the actual structure of it, and that how perspectives of like minor characters are prioritized over like the main characters, which then just takes you out of the story. And so it's quite a long series, and I've never played the game, so I never have like that sort of connection to it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to read The Witcher. I don't know if it's going to be for me, and I don't know if I just got sucked in by the hype of the TV show when I bought this, and I think it was like £3, so it wasn't expensive, but I am unsure about this one. An unpublished book on your TBR that you're excited for. I mean, there's just so many books that are coming out. I am really excited for She Who Became the Sun by Shay Parker Chan, which is coming out in the summer. So I have an arc of that, so I definitely plan to get to it very soon, in the next couple of months. So I'm really excited to get to that because it's been marketed as like Song of Achilles meets Mulan. And I haven't read Song of Achilles, but I do like Greek retellings and stuff. So I just feel like Achilles meets Mulan meets an Asian-inspired fantasy, like sign me up, because I really enjoyed the Asian-inspired fantasies I have read, like The Poppy War and J City. So I'm just really excited to read more about that and have that like inspiration within fantasy. So definitely that one. A book on your TBR that everyone has read but you. Well, it's like the second book in a series, but I haven't read like the rest of the Stormlight Archive. I've only read Way of Kings, and I only read that this year. So I feel as though literally everyone has read the whole of the Cosmere, or like the whole of the Stormlight Archive, and I haven't yet. So I have Words of Radiance, Oathbringer and Rhythm of War all to be read. So I guess that one is one that like literally everyone has read and I haven't. I mean, there are quite a few like really popular books that everyone has read, but I'm not so interested in reading them. Like I'm not so interested in reading, or at least currently where I am in life now, I'm not so interested in reading Wheel of Time or Malazan. So I feel as though like they're not necessarily on my TBR, but literally everyone has read them. Another one that's just come to mind is Joe Abercrombie. I feel like a lot of people have read Joe Abercrombie and I haven't yet. So, and I definitely want to give his books a try. So I feel as though he is definitely an author that everyone's read and I haven't. A book on your TBR that everyone recommends to you. Lately, I feel as though literally everyone is recommending for me to read Mask of Mirrors, and I seriously want to. Like, I really do want to read Mask of Mirrors, and like literally all my friends have been reading it and they're all saying how good it is. And I mean, it really started with like Angela from Literature Science Alliance and Jessie from The Bookish Mum telling me to read The Mask of Mirrors, and I definitely will. So that is definitely the latest one that everyone is telling me to read, and I feel like it's going to be right up my street. I feel like it's going to be a book for me, but it's just getting to it. A book on your TBR that you're dying to read. But the thing is, there's lots of books that I really want to read, like The Mask of Mirrors. Like I really want to read it, but I am also on this like mission to stop reading new series and to finish series that I've started. And so I feel as though that is dictating quite a bit of what I'm reading, and like me trying to finish things off before I start new ones, and then new ones keep trying to call to me and I'm like, don't do it, Abby, don't do it. So there's like these two sides of my brain that are like warring against each other, with like one side going, read Mask of Mirrors, everyone's telling you to read it, and then the other part going, it's the first book in a series and it's the only book that's out currently. I mean, I know the second book's coming out in I think November, but if I am starting series, I ideally want them to be a complete series so I can just read them through. But yeah, that's where I am. And the same with, I really want to read the Forgetting Moon by Brian Lee Durfee. I don't know, like it's really calling to me. Like it's really calling to me. But again, that is an incomplete series. I believe the third book is coming out this year, but again, it is massive as well, like gigantic. So I am keen to get to that. But currently I'm trying to persist and finish things off. And then the number of books on your TBR, so give me a second. Okay, so counting all of the books that I own here, I have 52 books on my TBR, which is a lot more than it has ever been. Like I pretty much was good at staying below 30 or like in the 20s, but it's definitely skyrocketed in the last year. Well, it's doubled to 52. I mean, it's really good because I've got like a whole pile of them. So I've got loads that I can choose from, but I'm feeling like it is getting a bit out of hand, especially as I can no longer fit these books into my bookshelf and that they're now like sprawling all over the floor. So yeah, 52, which I guess is like not too many compared to some people, and it's not too many compared to how many I read. And the thing is, if I think about it, like 52 books, that wouldn't even last me the year. If I didn't buy anything else, that would probably last me until towards the end of the year. It's not like out of hand, but I would prefer it to be like back down in the 20s number. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, because I feel as though books are coming in at pretty much the same rate that I'm reading them at the moment. And there's so many books coming out that I really want to read. So that's a struggle. And especially as I'm trying to finish off series, like if I don't own the whole series already, then I'll read like the second one, and then I have to go and buy the third one, and then I will read it, but like the number's not really going down. So that is the end of the tag. So if you want to do this tag, then go ahead, you are tagged. I hope you've enjoyed learning about my TBR and like what it's like for me with my TBR. I mean, I am a complete mood reader, so there's no real monthly TBRs here. There's no like structured organisation to what I'm going to be reading in a month, but here we are. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!